You're listening to By Design with Idia Sapphire and Santos Alberto. So I'm trying out a new format for you. I get so many questions that either come directly towards me as a man gen or that come into my field. And I love answering them, one, directly so that, whoever's asking can get benefit, but also as a heretic, as a fifth line, I love to universalize it and share it so that everyone can benefit from it. So if you like this format style, please be sure to let me know, and I'll keep doing it. So today, a question comes from AE, who says, I've been going through an inquiry. If anyone who has gone through their deconditioning journey, I've been on this experiment for 4 years. If it's possible to evolve your energy type, especially in business. Curious if anyone feels the same. I am a 6'2" Splenic Manifestor with a projected channel and incarnation cross, where I feel very aligned with the self-projected energy. I also have a majority of line 5s in my profile, even though I'm 6'2". One of my teachers said that also plays a factor, the effect of 5 in my chart. Okay, I'm going to riff about this. So even though you're 6'2", you can have if you have a majority of 5 lines in your chart, yes, you may find that a lot of the themes of being a fifth line, of a heretic, of being a natural marketer, of being the kind of person who feels called to externalize information and wisdom can have an effect in your design, can play out in your life. So, for example, my teacher, Barbara, is a 2-4 projector, and she has a lot of first lines in her chart, and so she's done a lot of investigation. So it's correct that just because you have a specific profile, it doesn't mean that that's the end-all, be-all of who it is that you are. Human design has so many different layers. So, and because it's such a logical and mathematical system, across the design, you have all of these themes. For example, every profile, every line, first line, second line, third line, investigator, hermit, martyr, etc., all the way up to 6, carry certain themes. And so those themes carry across in your chart, whether or not it's actually in your profile. So to answer that piece of your question, yes, you can have, you may feel quite a lot of fifth line energy in your life and in your design because you have a majority of line 5s in your chart, in your design. Now, to answer this question about whether or not your energy type can evolve over time as you decondition, I'd say yes and no. No, in the sense that there's no way that you can change your energy type, in that you're born a manifestor and then you're a self-projected projector later on in life, or that you're a generator and you become a manifestor. Although I'm sure there are many people who would wish that was the case. And I get that question often, that, oh, if you're born a manifestor, can you change? If you're a generator, can you change over time? It doesn't change. When I say yes, what I mean is that over time, the way you show up in your energy and in your life changes the more that you decondition. I've seen this in my own life. I've seen this in Santos's life and our life together. I've seen this in my teacher, Barbara, who is in her 3rd deconditioning cycle. So deconditioning happens in 7-year cycles. And she's been in the system for, maybe 20 years at this point. And I've also gathered this from my investigations and diving deep into the source material from Ra, the guy who channeled human design. And what they talk about is the fact that the more that you decondition, the more that the form relaxes. The less that you're in this hopped up, hyped up, conditioned, reactive space when it comes to reacting to everything in your external world. And the more that your body just becomes calmer, way more relaxed, it takes on an energy of greater calm and equanimity. It's like when you see spiritual teachers who really do the work, who have deep sadhana. you'll notice in them that their energy, I would see this all the time when I'd go to Vipassana, or you'll see it in people like Eckhart Tolle or Sadhguru, an emotional projector. You can see on stage that, Sadhguru is has a range of emotions where he'll be laughing most of the time, he's happy, he's jovial. There are times when someone's being really rude to him on stage and they're practically hurling insults at him, and you can see like a flare of emotion in him, but he calms it and he speaks with he's very equanimous about it. There's this calming energy to them. There's this sense of equanimity. There's this abiding ease that you feel and that you sense and that is palpable in their aura, in their energy. And this is what happens to each and every one of us. This is what's possible for each and every one of us as we continue to decondition. I know for myself, being some years into my experiment, I'm an emotional being. I have an undefined root. I was conditioned to move so fast through my life. And the more that I've deconditioned, the more my life has taken on such a slow and sensual pace. I take my time. I'm less amped up and rushing around to do things and go places and get stuff done. So in that sense, my energy has evolved, or maybe you would even say devolved, back into who I naturally am, rather than all the things that I took on through conditioning. And so in that sense, your energy can relax and evolve and change in your life. And naturally, of course, your business is a part of your life. It'll change the way that you show up in business as well. There's also a quality here in that the more that you decondition, the more that you start to align with the people and the things that are actually correct for you. And so I've definitely seen this, and that the work that I'm doing now isn't the work that I was doing when I first became an entrepreneur. Yes, it's gone through so many ebbs and flows, and it's evolved, and it's changed, and it's transformed. And that's actually correct for me. And you may find the more that you're in your experiment, and you've already been in your experiment for 4 years now, that that's true for you as well. That maybe everything down to the way that you used to eat is different, because there's diet and PHS and that whole side of things in human design, and variable, and how the food that you consume and the way that you consume it changes your body. The environments that you spend time in can change. The people that you spend time with change. The clothes you wear may change. So much changes because you're becoming more and more and more yourself. And so, of course, your business would change over time too, because the business you started, maybe 4 years ago, or even before then, is definitely not going to be the same business that you have today. Especially, might not necessarily be the business that you have today, especially the more that you live your design. But there's another nuance to this that I'd like to share, because you said you're a 6-2 manifestor and splenic. I invite you, I encourage you to explore giving yourself permission to pivot, permission to evolve. This is the power of living your design and following your strategy and authority, and it's that something being logical does not make it a prerequisite for it being correct for you. That just because your mind and someone's put the idea in your head in business, I know this for a fact, that you do one thing and you do one thing very well, and then you never change, and it becomes the one singular focus of your business, and that if you're the gym girl, you're the gym girl through and through, and you never want to throw away your brand or alienate an audience, and if you're the money woman, then you're the money woman through and through, and you're never going to evolve or change your brand. And that's just not true. And you can look out in the industry and you can see this as well. You look at someone like Amanda Francis, who I love. She started as a coach, life coach, helping people, coaching them one-on-one. And then over time, she started to teach money. And then over time, she wrote a bestseller, and so she created a course about a bestseller. And over time, she became a mom, and so she created a course about being a mom. Her business has continued to evolve and change and transform and shift with her. I look at a dear and lovely acquaintance of mine, a woman named Brooke Castillo. She started as a life coach helping people, helping women to stop overeating. And then had a program around stop over drinking. And now she has the Life Coach School, which last time I checked grew to over $50 million a year, where she teaches all kinds of things. She's got a certification. She's taught on everything from how to feel better to money to time and project management as an entrepreneur to helping people root into what's possible for them. She's taught 1,000,001 different courses and programs over the course of her decade-plus long career. And the business has naturally evolved with her. And we can see this even at the highest levels in the industry. Someone like Tony Robbins, right? He started as, he'll even said this in the story. I don't remember which hotel he said specifically, but it was like a Ramada or a Holiday Inn where he invited people there, and he was basically doing one-on-one NLP coaching in these rooms, to now having programs in every single sector of the big three: health, wealth, and love, and in literally buying out stadiums, like buying actual stadiums, and then filling and selling them out with 1,000+ people to take them through emotional, transformational experiences, and doing a whole host of other things in businesses and underneath his brand. And then even beyond the coaching industry or the healer industry or the online business world, you also have people like Oprah, who started as a news anchor in local Chicago and then ended up having her own talk show and now has her own network or Goop with Gwyneth Paltrow that started as a newsletter. She actually started as an actress. That was her initial brand. And then the newsletter, and then started sharing about certain things. And then it's evolved so much that she's got documentary series and pop-up events and gone into apparel and home goods and all kinds of products and offerings and experiences. So to give yourself permission to evolve your brand and your business as you evolve your brand and your business. This is especially relevant the more that we move towards 2027, because the prophecy in human design says that we're moving from the cross of planning, where everything was very like structured and planned, and you had all these systems, and it was designed to, in a lot of ways, oppress the individual for the sake of the collective and the tribe. And now we're moving to the age of the individual, the cross of the sleeping phoenix, where it is about the individual elevated by the tribe. And so the more that you're yourself, I think I also saw that you have channel 8-1, the channel of inspiration, the creative alpha. This design means when you have this channel, anyone with the channel 8-1, who's the creative role model, the creative alpha, it means that you're here to inspire others to be themselves by simply being yourself. That the more that you're true to you, and whatever your splenic intuition is telling you, the more that you become the really, really powerfully impactful manifestor that you're here to be. And that your spleen, your intuition can tell you in an instant, in a whisper, this is the way we're going. And your mind will tell you, well, I don't know, I should stick with this. I built this whole brand around this. It'll have all kinds of things to say about it. Let me not be so spontaneous. I don't know, let me sleep on it, but that's not correct for you. What's correct for you is to trust your intuition in the now, knowing that your superpower is in your spontaneity. And this applies to any type with any authority. Your emotions change over time. And you realize that, as an emotional being, I've been feeling into this, and it's time for my business to change. It's time for my offer to change. It's time for my audience to change. It's time to change what I share, my brand to change, whatever. Your mind is always going to have so much to say about it. Will I lose my following? What will people say? What will happen with the offers? You're self-projected. You talk a lot about it. Oh, I'm receiving different kinds of invitations. I recognize myself for something different now. Oh no, what does this mean if I change? Does this mean that I won't receive any more invitations? No. It's that when you trust your strategy and authority, everything flows for you correctly. Everything works itself out. That's the simple part. But it's not easy because we've been so conditioned our entire lives to believe that that's not okay, that it's not safe, that it won't work out, that how do I surrender to this? And instead, the sooner you trust your splenic intuition about where it's guiding you to evolve, to change, to move, to shift, especially because you're a hermit, you're here to answer the call. You're here to answer the call. Then as a manifestor, you initiate, you inform, and you're off to the races. So this is really the power of how you can trust in the way that your energy evolves over time to be more and more and more and more in alignment with your true self and the work that you're truly called here to do. And then a final thought on really resonating with self-projected projectors and that energy and having projected channels. You know, it's been my experience that the conditioning that the overwhelming majority of manifestors face is to not own their voice, is to clamp down and not speak up and not inform and not initiate, simply because throughout your childhood, if you grew up in an environment where people said, oh, speak up, honey, inform us, let us know. You want to do that thing, initiate. You want to change your business, you want to do something else, even though you've been doing something for the past 4 years or so, that's fine, honey. What's your intuition telling you? Trust your instincts. If that was the case, you know, your life would be in a very different place. It would be for all of us, right? But it's not. And so as you've been going through your process and as you've been really stepping into your power and owning your voice, you may find that one, you speak up more and you speak more freely. And also that you trust your intuition about when to speak up and who to speak up to. When to inform and who to inform to. And so it's only natural that, similar to a self-projected projector, because everyone with the defined throat, this applies to projectors with defined throats, it applies to generators with defined throats, it especially applies to self-projected projectors, manifestors, and manifesting generators. There's so much power in your voice. And yet you would have been deeply, deeply, deeply conditioned to shut that down, to hold back, to literally bite back. There's so many self-projected projectors, I see them. They bite the corners of their cheeks. They bite like their mouth. They literally clamp down on their words. Their jaws pop. They bite their lips. It's like they literally like have these coping mechanisms to help them bite back from, don't say it, don't speak up, don't say too much, think about what you say before you say it, but that's not correct for you. It's not correct for you. So it's no surprise that as you've continued to decondition as a manifestor, you've been able to speak more freely. Especially if you have a bunch of 5 lines. I mean, I know this well, I'm a 5-1 man-gen. It was not okay for me to speak up. The ways that I've been physically, literally physically attacked emotionally, physically, verbally, assaulted in so many ways for sharing the truth of what I see, for sharing the heretical wisdom that flows through me. Of course you wouldn't have felt safe to speak up before. And now, tying it back to the beginning of the conversation where you talked about your energy evolving, now that your form has been relaxing and you've been tuning into your strategy and authority, and you've been waiting for the splenic hit to inform the right person and to speak up, now you may find the freedom that was always available to you when it comes to you using your voice, when it comes to you informing, when it comes to you standing in your power. And so naturally you may resonate more deeply with the design of someone who's designed to do this, like a self-projected projector. especially in having projected channels. You may find that I'm sure, heretical things that you share with the majority of fifth lines in your design and your chart are better received. It brings you more peace. You don't feel so angry and pissed off and rejected by the not self people and the not self actions you would have taken in the past when you either didn't speak up or you spoke from a place of conditioning. So yeah, to recap, give yourself permission to evolve and for your business to evolve along with you, knowing that when you trust your strategy and authority, it will always evolve in a way that's correct for you. And remember, the amount of money that you can make through the not self will never, ever, 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 ever compare to the amount of money or freedom or impact that you can have as your true self. That as you continue to decondition, your form and your body and your energy will change to be more and more and more in alignment with the truth of who you are. Your energy will relax into depths of profound peace as a manifestor, unlike anything you may ever have known or experienced before. Your energy will relax into such a depth of satisfaction, unlike anything you've ever known before as a generator or a manifesting generator. Your energy will relax into such a state of success and recognition as a projector, and just so much surprise as a reflector. This is the gift of living your design. I don't remember the other thing that we were talking about, but that's it. That's the key. So yeah, give yourself permission to honor what's correct for you in the now as a splenic authority. And of course, if you're listening to this and your authority is different, then in alignment with your own authority too.